What is going on, everyone? Today I just wanted to do a quick video as I myself have just found out that I think I'm a day late, unfortunately, but I myself have found out that Bluepoint Games has been shut down by Sony. And realistically, I don't know why. I really don't get this one. This is just some stupid shit that Sony wants to keep pushing, and I mishandled is like the only right answer looking at this. If you don't know, Bluepoint Games are the people who have made some of the best remakes that we have gotten in pretty much existence. They had the Demon's Souls remake that launched on the PS5, which was critically acclaimed upon, again, critics and users alike. I myself bought that game as a day one game. I think I got like 3 or 4 games when the PS5 first launched. I did get the PS5 in the very beginning. Demon's Souls was one of my first games, and that was the first time I've played Demon's Souls. Not the first time I played From Software games, but the first time I've played Demon's Souls. And it was absolutely phenomenal. Like, I would say that game to this day is probably one of the best games to, like, if you want to showcase where the PS5 power has and stuff, it's still probably one of the best games to do so in terms of the visual fidelity, just the frame rates, the quality of life. Like, everything about that game is absolutely breathtaking. Like, it is a breathtaking looking game. Besides that, they have made the Shadow of Colossus remake as well. I myself didn't play that game growing up either. I did enjoy that quite a bit, or I think I played like very little of it growing up, like very, very little, but if I'm correct, I don't believe I understood the concept of it, so I just put it down. But going back to it, I really did enjoy Shadow of Colossus. I thought it was actually a pretty solid game. Obviously, I think Demon's Souls is the perfect one. However, Shadow of Colossus also did get critically acclaimed reviews as well, and user reviews. And then they made, of course, the one that started it all for them, for me, the Uncharted collection with Nathan Drake. The first original 3 remade and remastered on the PS4, which I believe was in 4K at 60 FPS, which is impressive. So again, you got 3 huge bangers under your belt. Like, all 3 of those games, or I guess technically you can say 6 or 5 games because the Uncharted is 3 games. But either way, all 3 games in one physical copy, I guess you can say, launched all tremendously well. None got low reviews. All sold pretty damn well, if I'm correct. And Sony acquired Bluepoint Games in 2021. So not even, they didn't even have it acquired when they did the PS5 launch. It was after. They fully acquired it. It was a full PlayStation studio in 2021. The disappointing thing is nothing has come out from Bluepoint Games since Sony had acquired it. And of course, now we have it canceled. And it really bothers me because I don't see what the reason for this decision was. Like, I literally am trying to think, like, okay, maybe they're trying to put it to a new studio or whatever. I legitimately don't see what the reason is doing this. I have no clue why Sony did it. Like, okay, this is my issue. So for one, Bluepoint Games, let's say if they remastered or remade Bloodborne, you already have probably 1 million copies sold in literally a week. I can guarantee Bloodborne would sell almost 1 million copies in a week, because that is such a high demand of a remake that people want. Specifically, I myself want that game. I still have it, and unfortunately it is the only From Software game that runs in 30 FPS on the PlayStation, and I don't know why. Obviously, because everyone thought Sony was just holding it back so that way when the remake comes, that everyone believed was going to happen from Bluepoint Games, we were going to get that. That 60 FPS with 4K fidelity and everything. But again, it feels like we're farther away from that reality. I myself would love to see a Sly Cooper trilogy remake. I would absolutely love to see it. Again, farther away from that now, even farther, probably not even gonna happen ever. It's out the window. Resistance trilogy, completely down the gutter. Like, there's so many, Jack and Dexter, there's so many different games like Bluepoint Games is specifically like they focus mainly on remakes and remasters for like, again, truly beloved franchises. And there's so many games that Sony has under its belt that they could do. I just named a few. The infamous 1 and 2 would be a big one for a remake as well. Again, I just named very few games, but it's the fact that now it's almost like we're never gonna get it. And my issue is this. No shade when I talk about this studio, but there's a studio that I think Sony could have closed down, and it would have still probably made people mad and upset, but I don't think it would be as bad, and it would make more sense simply because this studio's only really made 2 games, and one was on PSP, and one launched to mediocre reviews, I guess you can say. The studio I'm talking about is Ben Studios, the people behind Days Gone. Now, again, before y'all come at me in the comments, I do love Days Gone. Like, I think it is one of the most underrated PS4 games in existence for the entire PS4 life cycle. I think it actually is a great game. Extremely underrated, in all honesty. Like, I really think Days Gone is an extremely underrated game. Now, granted, now I do think like the love and the fan base is much higher for that game, but when it first launched, Days Gone didn't have anything. It had mediocre reviews. Critics were not really a fan of it, and users are also kind of like meh on it, you know? I liked it. I think my only gripe with the game is that it was extremely long for the story itself, but in terms of everything else, like visually, gameplay, the idea, the art style, everything about it, I really enjoy. I mean, it's literally Daryl Dixon from Walking Dead in the World War Z. Like, that's like the best implementation I can give you. It's honestly really fun, and it does suck that game a sequel got canned because of the low sales and review scores, which, again, this is why I'm saying it would have made more sense to close out Ben Studios, because, again, they don't have critically acclaimed games under them. They've only done 2 games, and again, one really wasn't that big because the PSP, and Days Gone, obviously. Again, now I think it's sold quite a bit, but again, the loss for that, especially if you cancel Days Gone 2, the loss for that isn't as high. Bluepoint Games doesn't make sense for the cancellation. Like, give me one sec. The Bluepoint Games cancellation does not make any kind of sense. Sorry, I had to check my phone for something. It literally makes no sense. I don't get why they would do it. They had everything on paper. I feel like there was a remake coming. I mean, they've kind of been in the shadows since the Demon's Soul release. Like, there's been really nothing said except Sony buying them, which, again, amazing. I think a lot of people, when that happened, believed and were excited to see some more remakes that we may be wanting, you know. Again, myself, Sly Cooper Trilogy is probably like the #1 dream game I would love to see come back. Jack and Dexter. I mean, technically we got the Spyro game, so I guess not that. But Ratchet and Clanks. I mean, there's so many other games that they can do under their belt. Like, there's just so many, and it's just sad because it's like, again, everything they did, it's just completely out the window. It's gone, and nothing came out of being purchased by Sony. And it really doesn't make sense. Like, this is kind of out of left field as well. Now, I know Sony wants to kind of push for the live service thing. I get it. I mean, live service, it does make a lot of sales, in all honesty. It really does. Like, that's where most of the money kind of keeps flowing. But not many people have the time to live service like that anymore. I mean, if they do, they're usually dedicated to one specific game. You know what I mean? Like, they're already dedicated to one game. Helldivers 2, it worked out tremendously well, and that's probably the only big successful one you guys have. The Last of Us one would have probably been the Arc Raiders that we have now if Sony actually stayed committed to it, but no, they canceled it. Factions was pretty much going to be a live service game for Last of Us multiplayer, and I think the foundation of the Last of Us multiplayer is already incredible. It literally would have been what Arc Raiders is. Like, I kid you not, if Last of Us Factions actually stayed, it would have been exactly what Arc Raiders was. Maybe better. Maybe. But I'm getting no shade to Arc Raiders. I absolutely love Arc Raiders. I absolutely love that game, so do not come at me in the comments either. But the Last of Us Factions would have been what Arc Raiders is if Sony stuck to it, but they canceled it. Then Concord came out, absolutely abysmal. So we know how that goes. So if the reason to cancel Bluepoint Games and shut them down is because they want to focus more on live service, I genuinely don't understand that idea and that mindset. The only saving grace that could happen is Sony is actually just making a new studio, and it takes all like the team members or most of the team members from Bluepoint Games into that new studio. Now, realistically, I don't know how beneficial that is in terms of like money wise and everything for Sony and financial wise. I mean, I think they would kind of lose more money, but I don't know. Maybe obviously the gaming community, the outrage that we all have right now, maybe it would actually make Sony try and fix something and cook up something back, because again, it genuinely makes no sense to shut them down. And again, this was hidden. I didn't know about this until I went on YouTube this morning and I saw Luke Stevens had posted something about it, and I was like, there's no way this is real. And I clicked it, and then when I clicked it, I started seeing more people talking about, you know, this whole thing going on, and it just baffles me because I don't see why. I mean, essentially every game you can dream that might have came back as a remake, it's out the fucking window. Don't even possibly expect it. I'm shocked we got the God of War trilogy. Granted, that's not by Bluepoint, that's actually by Santa Monica, but still. It's very disappointing to see. I mean, it really is disappointing to see this. I mean, Killzone, Jesus, they could have even done the Killzone like original trilogy and remade it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so many games they could have done, and to see this studio get completely canned, and Sony had bought them and essentially nothing was done after the purchase, it's honestly very disappointing. And I know there's a lot of crazy things going on right now in the gaming world. I just found out Phil Spencer got fired from Xbox, so there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. I mean, I don't think Xbox has a saving grace at all, in all honesty, but it's very disappointing to see that that this studio that I think has so much potential completely got scrapped because I guess Sony just thinks their money should go elsewhere. Again, we can only wait and see what's gonna happen. I hope there might be some good out of this, but I don't know. I mean, I really don't see what the reason for this cancellation and shutdown for this studio is. Like, I cannot see any logical reason as to why they would do it. Like, I don't think there's a reason at all to do it, like, at all. Again, if you're going to close the studio down, as much as I love Days Gone, the studio that makes more sense to close down is Ben Studios. Like, it literally is Ben Studios. That's the only one that makes the most sense. And again, I hate saying it like that, but you know what I mean? They didn't really make a huge successful game. I mean, Days Gone, again, it's great, but commercially and critic-wise, it didn't do tremendously well. It canceled Days Gone 2, you know? So it just, it doesn't make sense. Unless maybe they're trying to put more of their assets to that. I mean, maybe that's something, but again, we can only wait and see. Anyways, that's enough ranting for me and rambling on. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you think Bluepoint Games really is something that, you know, Sony didn't need. Let me know if you're disappointed. Let me know if you agree with me on the Ben Studios thing, or if there's another studio. I mean, there's a lot of studios out there that Sony has that probably the only one I can think of off the top of my head that is, like, I think more okay to let go of as of right now that I can think off the top of my head is Ben Studios. I can't think of really anyone else. I mean, Insomniac's a huge one, Santa Monica's a huge one, Naughty Dog's a huge one. Like I really, Sucker Punch is huge. Like, I really can't think of another studio that I can see Sony letting go of. Besides Ben Studios would make the most sense. So it's just baffling. But let me know what you guys think in the comments as always. If you liked the video, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you found this informative, great. As always, stay safe and stay immersive, guys.
Who did you get?